Hello, friends and family. Suzette here again, showing up to continue our contemplation about the hero's journey. And this time, I'd like to focus on the topic of meeting the moment. Hi, Jeffrey. So this idea of meeting the moment, our lives are made up of moments, the good times and the bad times. These are all moments in time. And if we were going to think of life in the form of units, the unit for a life lived is the moment. And when things are uncertain, we have a choice of how we want to show up in each moment, and how we show up day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute determines the whole of our existence, determines the path of the quality of our lives, the quality of life. And so when you hear about mindset from other teachers, other coaches, other mentors, when you hear about mindset, this is why. Because your mindset, our mindset in the moment, determines the kind of choices that we make, and those choices direct the path forward, propels us in any particular direction. So in this way, it's a very empowering thought, because it means that we have a choice. We can choose how we want to live our lives, how we want to face each day. We can spend our time anxious, we can spend our time angry, we can spend our time happy, or we can just spend our time in acceptance and trusting, knowing that there's a greater power at work, and if we put our best effort in each moment, that the best outcome will always emerge as long as we put forth our best effort. Hi, Claude. So, and this is really hard to remember during the hard times. Like right now, there's so much uncertainty going on, and I know it's like you keep hearing about it, uncertainty, but it's not going away. Uncertainty is not going away. Even in the best of times, uncertainty doesn't go away. So, when it comes to the hero's journey, at each point in the hero's journey, we have control over the moments, how we spend them, where we are, how we choose to make of each moment. And for me, I like to invest in myself. I like to read books. I like to, practice my breath work and my breath practices, my heart math tools. I like to write in my journal. I like to drop into my heart and connect with my inner life and feel what's in there. I like to give love to friends and family. I like to study and contemplate on the things to be grateful for. And on those days that I just can't do anything, like we all have those days, right? Where we just can't do anything. We just have to sit there and breathe. That's what I like to do. I like to breathe. Just sit there and breathe deeply. And slowly through the heart, because that is the very least I can do that I know is good for me, because it nurtures self-connection. It nurtures harmonization between heart and mind. So while we are on our own hero's journey, and in our collective hero's journey, we have to ask ourselves, how can I meet this moment? How can I meet this moment? How do I want to meet this moment? How do I want to show up? You know, I keep hearing the talk that things are never going to be the same. That life as we knew it ended in March. And while that may be true, there is also another thing that's true. That no matter how dark things get, if we commit to being awake to each and every moment in our lives, that we can tap into the richness that is there waiting for us. We can tap into our deepest voice, our deepest dreams, and from that place can emerge the seeds of a new beginning. And from that seed, or seeds, however many there are for you, there comes the answer of what can be done in that moment based on the contents of the heart. Whatever emerges from your heart creates the seed of a new beginning, and that in turn dictates how to meet the moment. If you're going to learn a new skill, study up on it. If you want to write a new song, just drop in, be present, and really seek your heart for a melody that comes to you. Because that's the creative process. We cannot be creative until we drop into that place where creativity flows from. So meeting each moment is a decision, it's a choice. No matter where you are along your hero's journey. And right now we're all actually collectively in a dark place. A lot of us are spending time alone. A lot of us are spending time separated from friends and family. But rather than focusing on what's not there, rather than focusing on regrets and focusing on what's missing or what's lacking and how horrible things are, let's focus on the things to be grateful for. And yes, this is not a very comfortable time. But the other side of this coin, the gift behind the challenge, is that when we slow down, we can actually start hearing our inner voice, our inner guidance. We can start getting back in touch with what's real in the world, what's real starting from within ourselves. We can reorient ourselves because we'll have the space and the room and the time to reorient ourselves so that we are living as beings from the inside out instead of living according to external expectations, according to what we believe the world wants us to be. That's not being true to ourselves. So what happens when we drop into this place where we are in our inner life more? There's a cultivation of depth. There is a nurturing of presence. There is a being more in the here and now, and it brings such richness to life. Things that perhaps we've forgotten. You know, we were all kids once, and when we were kids, we were fearless. But somewhere along the way, as we grew up, people told us, it's not right. You gotta think this way, you gotta be that way. And then that daring little child who was fearless and just wasn't afraid of anything suddenly was afraid to do everything. And that's what happens when we try to orient ourselves according to an external world instead of coming from within the heart and core of who we really are. So, in this collective journey, let's commit to being true to ourselves, reorienting ourselves to come from within and show up honorably, show up authentically, and not be afraid of bringing forth the gifts we have to bring forward and getting to know what those gifts are. And that is the gift behind the challenge of these times. This collective hero's journey. It's not gonna last forever. Nothing lasts forever. So when I speak of meeting the moment, whether in good times or whether in bad times, meet each moment fully embodied, fully in your body, in your heart, true, authentic. The more present you are, the more radiant you become. You become a radiant being. You are a soul. You are a multi-dimensional soul. Many aspects, many facets, like a diamond. This is who you really are. And to align to this is to raise awareness, raise your consciousness, rise above, come from within, and radiate that wholeness, authentically showing up, and that will be felt. That presence influences others. People will see you and admire that, because so many people are not used to living that way. Too many people get lost in their environment and then get too busy day to day that they forget to drop in, forget to check in with themselves. Meeting the moment, showing up, dropping in, tuning in, tapping in to that source, and showing up every single time. And on those days you don't feel like showing up, breathe. Just breathe. Let your thoughts go and focus on the breath. Give yourself that break on those days, because it's a natural part of life. It's a natural part of who we are, and we can't fight those days. We just have to let them be. We just have to be in the moment. When we invest too much energy in the future, it causes anxiety. When we invest too much energy into the past, we cause depression. But life is lived moment by moment in the present, not lost in thought, but here, sensing, feeling, being. The present moment is where we live our lives and where we have the most power to make positive changes in our lives. And even when times are bad, we can always meet each moment in a positive way, even if it means just sitting there and breathing deeply and slowly and allowing those feelings to just dissolve, because we are not our thoughts. We are not our thoughts. We are a part of a great consciousness. We are souls living a human experience. Who we really are is much greater than a story, than our minds, than our thinking. So being present, that's where the real power is. In the present. We are the most powerful we could ever be, because that's where we can make our choices for the better. So, my question for you is, how are you going to meet this moment and the next and the next? How will you keep showing up for yourself, your family, your friends, your community? Hi, Jean. So, that's my contemplation for today regarding the hero's journey, because ultimately that hero's journey can become a good one, a rich one at the end of life. So, as I always do, I'm going to pull from the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle to see what card I pull for us today. Card 16, Knights of the Round Table, let their love lift you higher. Here's the card. And I'll take a picture of it and post it later. And card 18. And this is from Stage 4, Meeting the Mentor. Card number 18, Knights of the Round Table, let their love lift you higher. Show me a successful individual and I'll show you someone who didn't want for positive influences in his or her life. I don't care who you are or what you do for a living. If you do it well, I'm betting there was someone cheering you on and showing you the way. Denzel Washington. And the message of the card: envision the people you most admire now and throughout history, seated at a round table with you and your life as their sole focus. Allow your personal Knights of the Round Table to offer guidance on your current circumstance, goals, and aspirations. Lean on their strength, knowing it is a sign of courage, not weakness, to be buoyed by visible and invisible ones who love you. Feel the unique way they infuse you with the direct transmission of wisdom from on high. Marinate in their individual and collective brilliance. Allow yourself to feel, sense, and see genius, gently yet powerfully wrapping itself around you, lifting you higher than you could ever do on your own. So the Knights of the Round Table, this is about masterminds and the ability we have to call in our Knights of the Round Table, mentors, spirit guides, angels. There are forces beyond this physical plane that will aid us if we're willing to tap into the resources they have ready for us, if we only ask first. So really keep it in your heart how you want to meet this moment and moments to come, because this is ultimately going to determine the rest of our lives. It's going to determine the quality of our lives in now and in the future. So I want to thank you for spending this time with me, and till next time, thank you.